if sleep feels far away and your thoughts are too loud to rest, stay here with me, just for a while. Close your eyes. Let the weight of the day fall from your shoulders. You are safe now. Tonight, I'll tell you a story. A soft story about two gentle doves who followed the quiet ache of two hearts and helped them find their way back to love and to peace. So breathe in, slowly, and let yourself drift. Whispers on Silver Wings. A soothing ASMR sleep story. The moon hung low over the quiet town of Solmere, casting its soft glow on the rooftops like a dream gently unfolding. Lamps flickered beneath cobblestone arches, and ivy curled lazily along old stone walls. On one such wall, perched side by side, were two doves, not ordinary birds, but messengers of quiet magic. Their names were Ellen and Thallo, bonded by more than feathers and sky. For years, they had followed the journeys of hearts, hearts in need of healing, of hope, of love's quiet return. Their wings were laced with silver strands, catching the moonlight like threads of starlight, nearly invisible to human eyes. Tonight, their gaze fell upon two souls below, Myra and Kale. Myra walked slowly through the square, her coat wrapped tight, her eyes searching the horizon as though looking for something she couldn't name. Kale stood by the fountain, a letter in his coat pocket he hadn't yet dared to send. The town had long whispered of their bond, a connection felt deeply, yet never spoken aloud. And so, with a flutter and soft coos that only the night could hear, Ellen and Thallo took flight. They circled above, trailing behind Myra as she wandered toward the sea. Her thoughts were heavy, but her heart beat with a quiet rhythm of hope. The doves, sensing this longing, whispered to the wind. A breeze picked up, gentle, warm, brushing a loose strand of hair from her face, just as Kale looked up from the other side of the plaza. Their paths, for a moment, aligned. Ellen swooped down, landing on the old bench where Myra paused. She tilted her head, watching the girl with eyes full of ancient knowing. Thallo followed closely behind, circling above Kale and calling out softly, as if urging him forward. And then, something shifted. The breeze carried a scent of lavender and salt, the sea not far, the hills beyond cloaked in sleepy shadow. Myra sat still on the bench, the world quiet around her, as if the night itself leaned in to listen. Ellen cooed softly, her feathers puffed gently against the night air. There was something about that coo, like a lullaby from some forgotten memory. Myra blinked slowly, her breath beginning to match the rhythm of the waves beyond. For the first time in many nights, she didn't feel lost. Just or paused. Waiting. Thallo landed near Kale now, just beside the lamppost where he stood frozen, letter still tucked inside his pocket. The dove looked up at him, wings shimmering faintly. Kale furrowed his brow, surprised at the closeness of the bird, but something about its eyes held him. He took a step forward, then another. The doves moved subtly, guiding with presence rather than push, with energy rather than sound. Kale crossed the plaza slowly, the letter now in his hand, crumpled a little from worry. He wasn't sure if he would speak, but his feet knew where to go. And Myra, she turned. Their eyes met across the gentle wash of moonlight. Neither spoke. The moment was still, yet full, like a cord hanging in the air, not yet resolved. Ellen fluttered to the ground between them, then hopped quietly to the edge of the path, as if suggesting, "Follow." Without thinking, they did. Through quiet streets and over a small stone bridge where candlelight flickered from a windowsill, Myra and Cale walked side by side. Not touching, not speaking, but together. Words, when they came, were like feathers themselves, light, hesitant, but true. "I thought I lost you," Cale whispered. Myra looked ahead, her voice barely above breath. "You didn't. I was just, hiding from myself." The doves soared gently above them now, silent guardians of a reunion not loud or dramatic, but soft and slow, like the rain that begins with a single drop. As they walked, memories wove between them. Laughter from spring picnics by the hills. Notes left in books, never signed. That one time their fingers brushed under an umbrella, and neither of them moved away. They had always danced along the edge of something more, too gentle to fall, too quiet to speak. Tonight, under the guidance of feathered companions and moonlit calm, something began to open. They stopped near the edge of the sea, the waves brushing the shore like sleepy sighs. Cale finally unfolded the letter. It trembled slightly in his hands as he passed it to Myra. "I wrote this weeks ago," he said. "I never sent it because I didn't think I deserved to." She held it gently, her fingers tracing the edge. "You always deserved to." She opened it. Words written in uneven ink, but full of warmth. "If I could be anything in your life, I'd be the soft wind that holds your hair, the quiet voice that tells you you're enough, the steady light that doesn't fade when everything else does." Myra smiled. And then, finally, she reached for his hand. Their fingers intertwined, and the doves above them circled once, then settled on a nearby branch, their wings folding in rest. Their work, for now, was done. But the night was far from over. The stars above Solmere shimmered like quiet thoughts, countless, patient, unhurried. Myra and Cale stood hand in hand by the sea, wrapped in the hush of something long awaited. Above them, Ellen and Thallo nestled close together on a twisted willow branch, their silver-lined wings catching the moonlight like blessings unspoken. A path curved ahead, one neither Myra nor Cale had ever followed, though it had always been there, hidden behind overgrown grass and ivy-covered stone. The doves stirred gently, their eyes gleaming. Something in the air whispered, "This way." Still holding hands, the two stepped onto the path. It led them away from the shore, into the edge of the forest where the trees grew older, their trunks wide and wise, their leaves fluttering with secrets. Fireflies blinked softly, marking the way. Each step felt slower, softer, like the world around them was cushioning their hearts. Myra leaned into Cale's shoulder, her voice like a memory just returning. "I used to dream of a place like this." Cale looked down at her, warmth in his chest, the kind that melts worry. "You don't have to dream anymore." The path opened at last into a clearing. At its center stood an old stone arch, worn, covered in moss and vine, with tiny flowers blooming along its curve. A bench sat nearby, carved from driftwood and thyme. Above the arch, just visible in the moonlight, were markings, not letters, but shapes. Two birds in flight. Myra gasped softly. "It's them." Ellen and Thallo glided down, landing on the arch as if returning home. The air felt different here, not magical in the way of spells or grand enchantments, but in the way of peace. True peace. The kind that finds you when you stop searching and start allowing. Myra sat on the bench. Kale joined her, their hands still interlaced. "Do you think they brought us here?" Ishi asked. Kale nodded slowly. "Or maybe they just reminded us where we were meant to go." Silence settled around them like a soft blanket. In that moment, nothing needed to be fixed or explained. They were enough. Together, now, in this stillness. Above, Ellen rested her head on Thallo's neck. The two doves closed their eyes. Myra laid her head on Kale's shoulder. His arm came around her without thought. The night deepened, the stars leaning in a little closer. And slowly, very slowly, they drifted into sleep. There, in that quiet grove where silver wings once circled, two hearts rested. No longer seeking. No longer waiting. Just being. The grove had fallen into a deep hush, the kind of silence that isn't empty, but full of meaning, memory, and the softness of dreams. Myra stirred first, though she didn't open her eyes. She felt Kale's heartbeat beneath her cheek, steady and warm. A faint breeze drifted through the clearing, carrying the scent of night flowers and old stone, and something else, something like promise. She smiled, still half asleep, not needing to move. Not needing to ask anything more of the world. Kale, too, lingered between sleep and wakefulness, his thoughts floating like feathers in slow circles. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like he had to try. Love was not something he had to reach for or chase. It was here. Present. Quiet. Above them, Ellen and Thallo remained still, their feathers gently ruffling in the night wind. They had watched over countless souls, but this moment felt different. Not an ending, not even a beginning, but a return. To something whole. To something true. The stars shifted slowly overhead, their ancient light brushing the earth like a lullaby. And far beyond the clearing, beyond the town of Solmere and its winding stone streets, beyond the waves that whispered against the shore, other hearts still searched. Other souls still wandered beneath sleepless skies. And the doves, when the time was right, would take flight again. But not tonight. Tonight, they stayed. For love had landed softly. And peace, at last, had found its place. In this quiet world of moss and moonlight, where silver wings once guided two hearts, now only the hush of rest remained. And so the night deepened, and the dream began. Sparkles, end of story, Sparkles.